Story analysis time. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go
Yes,
English
this is
teacher
why
on you.
you're here, Tim. This
I
is
know,
why.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't
tell
do this
us.
a lot, but I need to do it here because it's worth doing. So, like, basic story structure is, or character structure is that every character has a want, a need, a lie, and a ghost. They want something, but they in fact need something that they're unaware of. They are haunted by something from their past or a decision that they have made, that is their ghost. And there's a lie that the world is telling them that they believe to be true. Okay. And so I want to know what Superman's need is in this book.
On
Like, I think
this month in Superman, we're here. We are the Beer with Geeks, Tim and Frank, and I am Vactor. Welcome back to This Month in Superman, your monthly breakdown of the best Superman comics on the stands. Here's how it works. Each of us picks one book that we love the most, and we go all in on it. And there's never a time that we all pick the same book. It has never happened, and it never will. So we're all going to pick our own individual comics, and then we'll speed run through the rest of the Superman family in our honorable mentions. That's all the books that feature like Supergirl, Power Girl, all the extended Superman family, but not Big Blue himself. So we're going to talk all of these things here on This Month in Superman. And I want to get the most, I should say, the most fantastic Beatles TikToker in the history of TikTok, Super Frank. What is your pick of the month this month?
Hello, I am the Eggman, and I pick for us this month. I really enjoyed Superman number 30. This was a fun read for me. I am always a sucker for the Superboy Prime stuff. I am always a sucker for some Booster Gold, some very meta humor. What was it? Dan Jurgens is gonna hate this. That did it for me.
Yeah,
That sent me. I was totally here for that one.
this was almost my pick. I didn't feel like it was as strong as the previous issues, so it kind of like dwindled a little bit for me. I was more attracted to a different book. Truthfully, it took me on a ride that I wasn't expecting. Like, it actually gave me a twist that I wasn't anticipating. And I appreciated that about the book. And I'm like slowly starting like this incline slope of appreciating Booster Gold. So I wasn't even holding that against the book in any particular way.
Nice. All right. So that's where you are on the curve. You're starting
Yeah,
to still on the upswing.
We're heading to a good place with the Absolute Universe and the regular Prime Universe kind of coming head to head for some reason. But I just for whatever reason that is, but this was a goodie. But truthfully, I think it was a goodie because of Superboy Prime the most. I think his meta humor is what sold this book for me, as opposed to like other issues where I was sold by everything else plus the meta. Whereas like the meta was the thing that really made this worth reading for me this time.
yes, man. I don't know how many superlatives. I don't know how much praise I can put on Dan Mora's art. Just continues to be my favorite art of any comic book artist. Just there's something that hits my core and my being of who I am and says, you will like this. Like this art, like you can see it in the cover here, is just fantastic. He is at the top of his game. I think he just gets better and better as time goes on. And the story that's being told right now amongst Superman and all of these, like, we're dipping into the absolute universe and the main DC universe and all these things that are tying together. I think this is going to be just a very nice collection. Once everything is done, once everything is in a hardcover format, I think it's just going to be a really good super story. We haven't seen how if they stick the landing yet, but I'm just really enjoying the time trapper stuff and the way that Superman had like flipping our expectations of who Doomsday is. We all have this notion of Doomsday going back to when we were young, when Doomsday was created to be the killer of Superman, and just kind of that almost like mindless Hulk type figure of just I'm just made to kill Superman, and how the backstory has come about and how he's evolved into the time trapper now. He has really become a fascinating character to me, where he was like one note when we first met him. Now 30, 40 years later, however long it's been, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing with his character. And I don't know if you can see it on the live, but here in the Riverside studio as we record, a tangent hand has shot up. So Tim, what we will call on you. What say you, sir?
So I agree with you about Doomsday being one note, and I was never, apart from Doomsday, like, oh wow, it's cool. Look, he looks cool, whatever. And like, and if I never saw Doomsday again, I wouldn't care. But to give Doomsday a personality, and not even just a personality that's like must destroy Superman. Now I have a vocabulary. My diction and syntax are excellent. Like instead now he's no longer just an antagonist. He's playing in a true moral gray area, and a part of that grayness is because he's gray, like the color, but also because we like time is a wibbly wobbly thing, and so like we're not sure, like we don't know. Our intentions say it's no bueno because
Yes.
it's Doomsday. His name is Doomsday,
And that's
the
Superman.
Doomsday,
That's his
right?
feeling.
Right, but Time Trapper isn't a great name either. Truthfully, if you have to like go on the protagonist side, you're not helping
True.
yourself with Time Trapper. But I
This
like
makes me
the
think of
character
Trapper
that's
Keeper, and just makes me think
Yes,
of like
yes.
being back in
Yeah,
school
sure.
again. Like I
Yeah.
don't.
I'm the Time Trapper. Like yeah,
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 right.
yeah, right, yeah.
Hey, they
Were
should
you
sell
trapping it
those.
or
Yeah.
letting it go? Like when you
Yeah.
made that sound.
Yeah.
But the
Well, both
like
because
they
it was a
did this, like,
Frozen
I
themed Trapper Keeper, so it was a Let It Go. Anyway,
nice. He was letting time go. There you go. Get out of here.
putting
Get
myself
outta
in
here.
timeout.
Yes.
I
You
watched
finish
Frozen
each other's
today.
sandwiches. I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
love that you guys are doing that. Yeah, man. I just really like. I was reading the what was the All In special, or there's so many specials that are going on here. Whatever the like the connection to what's setting up DCKO, which is actually coming out. The first issue of DCKO is coming out
Technically,
next
that is
month or
this month
I'm
in
sorry.
Superman, not
Yeah,
last
I'm-
month in Superman. So
I'm
shut up because
time-
I haven't read it yet.
Well, I'm not giving anything away, but just saying I'm enjoying that progression of it's like, oh, I didn't even realize it was part of this story. So I'm like, yeah, this is more stuff and more flame on the fire, or more fanning
Yeah.
of the flame.
I
Yes,
I
Tim.
do feel that. I love this hand raise thing. It's just very helpful.
Tim, yes.
I do feel that we're getting very close to like the Diamond era, like, or whatever,
Triangle era?
Oversaturation.
of oversaturation, where I just like I have to read Superman and Justice League Unlimited
Right.
and this one shot
Yeah. Right.
and this thing to get the whole story. And I don't love that because I don't have the money for something like that. Like I don't even have, no, that's not true. I can afford it. It's like they're not that much money to buy one comic, like, so you get one less coffee at Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, like it's fine. I don't have the time. It's really time. I am not the time trapper.
That's the big
as you
one.
can see, I'm more of a tan than a gray, and so I just don't have the time to devote to reading all of these comics that are supposed to tie in together, that I think are truthfully diluting the story a little bit, because like Mark Waid can't go off because we're too busy wrapping this into DCKO, and Scott Snyder's writing that with somebody else who I cannot remember. So that I don't love that. It feels a little bit too much like you got to read it all, and I'm like getting to the point where I'm like, well, maybe it's time that I stop reading all of them, but I don't want to because I love them. So it's
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Joshua Williamson is the other writer on DCKO,
that's right.
which
Whom I also
yeah.
really like. Yeah,
yes,
maybe more than Scott Snyder. I will get back to you. Yeah, sometimes Scott Snyder's events are just a little too much. Like they
Yeah.
just
Metal.
yeah, metal,
Yeah.
metal too. Like yeah, like his Justice
Super
League
metal.
run.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a little too like I'm gonna say a lot of sciencey vibey wibey things, and then I'm just gonna glaze over and then go to what you're you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because if I glaze over it, turns out I didn't need to read it after all because everything still makes sense, which means
Yes.
unnecessary wording. Yeah, yeah. So
I
anyway,
100% feel you on that. I mean, especially with us doing this podcast where we're ingesting all of the super titles, it does get to a point where, you know, the stuff that falls to the bottom that doesn't rise to the top, you're like, oh man, why am I still reading this out of obligation and not out of I'm enjoying this and we're having a good time?
mhm.
Definitely, I feel that. Yeah. So Joshua Williamson wrote Superman which is Frank's pick of the month. And yeah, I just echo everything that you guys said. Like the Booster Gold, the Legion, and Superboy Prime to me was the MVP. That was the best part about it because I might have mentioned this on this podcast, but I've definitely mentioned it on other podcasts. Any character that breaks the fourth wall, for me, since I was a kid, like I was like, you can do that? That's possible? Like Ferris Bueller, anybody who spoke to the camera, Zach Morris in Saved by the Bell, or there was like Out of This World. There was one where she would like stop time and like things that were just out of the ordinary and they stepped out of their time zone. That for me as a kid was always something that I was fond of. So fourth wall breaking characters, She-Hulk, Deadpool, anybody that references, hey, I'm in a
Yes.
comic book. I always like that. So Superboy
Always.
Prime, yeah, the Jurgens reference and the Crisis references and he knows all these things. That just made me laugh.
Big Crisis references all the way. I mean, down to the end, like building the machine and strapping Booster to it. Like I loved all of that.
Yes.
To summon Darkseid. Yeah.
All of that was fantastic. Frank, anything else that you had to say about Superman number 30? Or shall we move on to Tim Tangent's pick of the month? Tim?
Let's roll that beautiful Tim Tangent footage.
Yes. What is your
My
pick of the month?
My pick of the month. My pick of the month is Adventures of Superman, Book of L, Part 1. A very long title, maybe too long. I'll get back to you. But written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who Frank had the pleasure of meeting not too long ago.
Sure
Yes,
did.
that's right.
And interviewing, for that matter. I shouldn't just say meeting. Like, you're like, yeah, I was at a convention. You were there. No, Frank was on a stage with Phil Kennedy Johnson doing a thing, being awesome.
I have the autograph to prove it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
There you go. We also have pictures, which we have
Nice.
shown. So I'm not
I
going to do
love
it
it.
again. But it's good stuff. This is a art by Scott Godalski. This is a direct continuation of Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on Superman or Action Comics, I should say, which I loved. Loved that story, and so I'm glad that it is continuing. Turns out I did not remember tons because when you like it, this book is as a direct continuation. You're like, you don't remember who any of these people are. Well, too bad. I'm not going to tell you. Let's get started. So, and sometimes I actually do appreciate that. We're like, that's my bad. I didn't remember. That's actually on me, not you. It's okay. You don't have to like treat me like an idiot. I'll catch up. I'm good. But I like that it's continuing the story with the kids, and because they've kind of fallen off. They've kind of fallen off in the story. We got some was it Osul and Otho, the two kids. And we've got some good mom and pop stuff in here. Some really nice, like super family bonding stuff, like with Lois and Ma and Pa and Clark and the kids and Jonathan and It's been like, it's been it's been good. And truthfully, the art mostly is what sold me on this book than anything. I just was really taken by the expansive, almost widescreen story.
Yes.
And I liked the dual timeline, multiple timeline structure is always fun. And then, and seeing how they're going to wrap back around and connect and whatever. But like I said, it's definitely need to remember stuff first. That's the only downside of this one. Like should have read up on what I read in War World first before I where I started here. But I mean, yeah, look at that. But if you go to the next page, if you're able to do that
Yes. Let
on here,
me.
there's just like some like it's got that like larger than life
Ooh, yes.
Kirby-ness going on. That's what I and I know like Jack Kirby and Superman are not exactly explicitly linked together, but comics and Jack Kirby are. So when it gets big like that, when it gets really big with wild out there alien designs in space and whatever, I'm like, Jack Kirby, like, look at that.
Yes.
Jack Kirby. Yeah. And that's
Yeah,
what
this is fantastic.
yeah. So this kind of stuff is what I'm here for. I'm excited for this.
Yes. I actually forgot what was going on because it's been so long, and I was also like tied up in the other Superman stuff. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, why is he not with the time trapper? What's going on? But once I got my bearings and I was like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on and who wrote this, then I was like, oh, yeah, we are strapping in for another epic here. This was a ton of fun for me.
Yeah,
think
same.
partly what I loved
I
about
would
it-
have been a lot more lost on all of that had it not been for had I not just reread this because I was on a flight and had the book in hand because I'd gotten it signed by him. Otherwise, I would have been a lot more lost. Because I had not read it in such a long time. But I was I was like very much on board once I sort of was got my bearings.
Yeah,
what I
man,
think what I think
am loving this stuff.
what I do think works about this book, which is like kind of was my comment from the previous books, that I feel like I have to read that one shot and read this thing and when this and but this is just it's continuity, but it's just doing its own thing. It's not concerned about what's happening with Time Trapper or happening with Darkseid or anything. It's just continuing a good story. And where does it fit in the timeline? Who cares? It's comics. The timeline is going to change anything. Stories that take 7 months to tell in our time take an hour in their time. Like who cares when it takes place? So I appreciate that.
Yes, 100%. There's always that back and forth pull in my mind of, and it's like this with TV as well. Like, okay, the standalone stories versus the overarching, continuity stories. Where do they like? I like both, and they each have their strengths and weaknesses. And I like to have a steady stream of both and not just one or the other. So, yeah, it's fun to get the stuff that we're getting with the Dark Side and the Legion and all that stuff. And then also to have these side stories, which is also fun for me to have stuff like my pick of the month this month, Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum by issue number 2, which we talked about last month. The team behind the Ice Cream Man is doing this Black Label book, and I am a very bad comic book reader because I have been hearing about Ice Cream Man since it first came out, and I've always like, yeah, I'll read that one day, and then it's like years later, oh yeah, I still haven't even read the first issue yet, so I'm still upset about that. Tim, you have a question?
I am like you. I also have not read Ice Cream Man, but every time I read the Kryptonite Spectrum, I associate it in my mind with Ice Cream Man, even though I haven't read it. So I'm just expecting someone to eat ice cream at some point. And I think I swear I had a dream like
Are you
last
telling me
week
Ice Cream
about the
Man is
Kryptonite
not the villain
Spectrum,
of this
and
story?
no, just like I had a dream. Like I
Yeah.
legit had a dream last week, and there was like they were like, why is Superman not eating ice cream in the Kryptonite Spectrum? Like it was like this weird like, why is this not happening? Anyway, that was I don't know why. It's just like I've not even read the book, so
That makes
I don't
me-
know why my mind is like you should be associating these things. I read a lot of comics from creators who I haven't read their previous
That's
stuff.
funny.
Like, but whatever reason, this one, Ice Cream Man.
Dang. That makes me think of those Spider-Man, the popsicles that were Spider-Man shape, and then they had like gumball eyes, just
Yeah.
superhero, like something you would get from the Ice Cream Man as he was coming around town.
I just
That
bought
makes
one
me
for my
think of
daughter
that.
a couple weeks ago at a sunflower festival here in town.
Yes.
It was still melty and did not look like Spider-Man at all.
Yes, I love it.
But did it taste?
But man, the Kryptonite Spectrum. Yeah, tell us, Frank. Tell us. Give us the lowdown.
I mean, that Kryptonite Spectrum. Oh my god! Like,
No,
I meant the
the
ice cream.
Spider-Man ice
The
cream
ice cream-
taste good. Did it taste like
it
Spider-Man?
just was like, did it taste like Spider-Man? That is a question for Mary Jane and Gwen. But I'll tell you, is that Kryptonite Spectrum was my Kryptonite Spectrum is the correct answer to the question of what was the pick
What was
of the
the
month.
pick of the week? Yeah, you just happened to have read it first. Vactor. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. It was so good. I mean, it was the most enjoyable read for me. Laughs and smiles all throughout. The, Bruce and Clark back and forth was great. Kaiju stuff. I mean, it's fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
The narrative structure of the, starting in the middle and then flashing back to what happened.
Loved it.
You're like, what is going on here? And I was like, when I was first reading it, I was like, wait a minute, did I miss this? I went back to book 1 and I was like, wait, where did book 1 end? Oh, okay, I see what they're doing. This, just the premise alone, like the elevator pitch for this series of Superman is going through different shades and new variants of kryptonite and finding what happens to him, like the effects of this new kryptonite. That, you already had me at hello. You had me at kryptonite. I love seeing the different, like, okay, what it's almost like, I'm trying to think of like a analogy of something that, like a blind box that you open up and you're like, oh, I did not know I was going to get this. Tim, what is it? Tell me, Tim. Tell me what it's called.
It is Alice in Wonderland. It is
Yeah.
like, oh, what will happen when I drink this in this bottle? This says drink me. What will happen when I eat this cookie? This
Yes.
says eat me. Whatever. I get really big. I get really small. I look like a walrus. Whatever it is. Like, it's just it's
Which
got
Batman-
that wild whimsy. He talks about Alice
Yeah,
in the
and
second issue.
Yeah, he even says it. Yeah.
Mhm.
I did not remember that at all. I'm actually reading Alice in Wonderland right now. That's why it's in my head. That's wild.
Nice. Yes. Yeah, I'm looking at one of the pages here and he says, why is a raven like a writing desk? And then Superman's
Yes.
like, what's that? Some kind of riddle? And he's like, it's from Alice in Wonderland. So, man, Tim, you were right on. Tim Tangent coming in
My
with
Subconscious was
the
like, you're an idiot.
great
It already
literary
like made that
references.
connection for you.
I would expect no
Like-
less.
coming together.
Man. But yeah, it's like just that, just that notion of what can come next. That is what makes me happy every time I'm seeing this. And it also makes me think about the golden age and the silver age of, all right, red kryptonite, like anything could happen. His head could turn into a giant ant, or, all of those crazy, wacky, silly things. That's comic books. That's why, and we talked about it when we reviewed the Superman movie. The Silver Age aspects of James Gunn's Superman is what made me really love it. And even the Fantastic Four movie that we got this year, the First Steps film, just these type of shots of, which is Alice in Wonderland, 100%. This is what I am here for. I love this, and I want more of this. Do we know how many books this is? Because each one is called a book instead of an issue. Do we know how
I
many?
think it's either 6 or 8.
How many types of kryptonite are there? Usually that might be the indicator.
Ooh,
I don't know if there's a
set.
determinate number.
Are they testing 4? So is it 4 issues? Like that's like but I do not know.
Yeah, it doesn't
I mean,
say.
6
on the
to
series here.
7 is average for a story arc in a comic. You do 6 to 7, but Kryptonite Spectrum, I think the issues are a little bit longer than your average comic issue, which would make me think that it's 4.
They're about 30. Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks like they're 32 pages. Yeah. So
I mean, it's Black Label, so it's a whole different world, right? Like, we don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone knows, put it down in the comments on how many issues we're going to get on the Kryptonite Spectrum. But I mean, we're just at the start. We're just scratching the surface of Lex's plans and how is he going to play into this. And I don't know where this series is going, but I'm just super happy every time I read it and every time I get a new issue of Kryptonite Spectrum. There's all these elements at play here. The friendship between Superman and Batman, the rivalry between Superman and Lex, And even now, it's crazy. Every time I see Crypto now, even though he's been around. Oh, I'm sorry, Frank. I just saw your hand raised there. Go ahead.
Oh, no, it's all good. Tim adds, yes, it is going to be 5 issues. I just saw that.
Okay, perfect.
As well, yes. So yes, we're
Excellent.
both. Yeah, 5 issues for that one. No, I was gonna, when you mentioned something before, it made me think of this in this book, the Silver Age stuff. I really dug the art style. I felt was also very Silver. I actually feel like the art style has been very Frank Quitely.
Yeah,
reminiscent for me.
That
right?
is 100%.
The physicality that he has, and sort of the roundness that things have.
That's a great.
Yes. It very much gives that same vibe, as well as not just the art style, but the actual what's being depicted is very Silver Age. Just I thought fantastic stuff. The little slice of life thing that I thought was funny was the lady with the spreadsheet.
Yeah,
actually. As part of the whole, like you were talking about the starting in the middle and then going back to, like, just the seeing the origin story of her spreadsheet and her being like explaining to her coworker like what like a pivot table is. It's like that. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was
fantastic.
And Green Lantern was right, kids. Hit Control S as often as you can because you don't want to lose, unless you're or use something or using modern like Google Docs that will just automatically
save it.
But
for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
I
also
monster. Yeah.
Yes.
If it was really that important, Linda,
right. I save every 2 seconds whenever I'm working on something, even when it's not important. Even if it's like, I was gonna say we use the Google Docs for our show notes, and it automatically saves it. But normally, I'm just like Control S every 2 seconds.
Man. Yeah.
I loved the ending of this book. When Superman drinks chemo, is it chemo or chemo?
Yes, I don't know. I was thinking chemo myself,
chemo
but
weird,
it could be chemo,
right? It feels weird to make chemo.
I know. That's why that's why we're questioning it.
So I think we're gonna say chemo. Yeah, but I think it's supposed to be chemo, but I don't know.
It was just a great kind of cliffhanger of him drinking it and then turning into this little, which actually leads into the next issue's cover art. It's him and Shazam on a swing set.
Yeah.
And he's like Superboy. And Shazam, and I think this is going to be something that they play up, that aspect of the boy trapped in the man's body and he just wants to play, because there's different versions of Shazam or Captain Marvel, if you're nasty, where he's either the kid in the giant body where he acts like he's a kid, and that's funny. And we've seen various, like on Young Justice and different versions of that Captain Marvel or Shazam. And then there's a version where he's like almost, I was going to say the movie, but they're trying to be like the kid in the adult body. But I don't, the difference, anyway, it's a Shazam movie. That's a whole nother thing. But there's another version where he's like an adult and then he reverts into the child and he acts like an adult. So like there's these two versions. Tim, you raise your hand.
Yes. I would like to know from both of your perspectives, we're talking about Captain Shazam Marvel. If he has the wisdom of Solomon, should he act like a kid at all? Or should he be acting like an adult? Because we all know some pretty unwise adults, but they don't necessarily act like kids. So I think, like, to your point, the Shazam movies, it's like its own thing, but he's like Billy the Kid is actually wiser than Shazam the adult in those movies. Like he somehow like reverses it, so I think technically he was supposed to become an adult and think like an adult and whatever else. And it's just a great mystery that he was a kid, but I'm not like adults can say, holy cheese whiz, is that Superboy? But I think you're right. In this case, I think they're definitely going for a kid in an adult's body.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be maybe an adult with a kid's body. Like it's like, so the reversal of their fortunes. So I don't know.
Right.
Good juxtaposition.
Yeah.
I thought
Just-
after all the Alice in Wonderland stuff, like where he was physically large, you'd expect him to become physically small, but no. Instead, he became young. Like I like that as a misdirect.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great
And
misdirect.
just
Good
from the, and I'm trying to pull up the, yes, that was excellent. Just from the next book, like I said, the next issue, which I wish Riverside had an easier way for me to pull up covers on here. But the way that he's speaking and the way that he's acting, he's obviously on a swing set. Like we're meant to believe that, okay, he's a kid in a man's body. But I think that is going to be in that Silver Age, like playing up that that goofiness, and that's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see what we get out of the next issue. And again, this is a great advertisement for Ice Cream Man. Like this is making me want to read Ice Cream Man every time I read Kryptonite Spectrum.
I almost bought it right now while we were talking. I was like on Amazon. I was like, maybe I should get
You
it.
know
But you
what?
know what? I'm behind on my monthly book, so never mind like reading something
Yeah.
for fun. That's
Well,
already
I
out.
just want to buy ice cream. Period.
I was gonna say I'll leave a link to Ice Cream Man in our show notes where you can get it, and maybe a little piece comes over to this comic cooks so I can buy some ice cream myself. Maybe. So I'll put a link in our description in our show notes. But yes, shout out to Hugh Maxwell Prince, the writer Martin Morasso, and Chris O'Halloran, the artists on the Superman Kryptonite Spectrum. I am loving it. I think we all could have made this our collective pick of the month, but we did want to spread it out just a little bit. Speaking of spread out, real quick, before we get out of here, I wanted to, go ahead, Tim.
I have my hand raised. What are you
Yes.
ignoring me?
Officially
Like,
raise your hand, Tim.
Yeah, I did.
Raise your hand.
So I would like to know what you think Superman. So, like, this is
Like some story analysis time. Sorry, guys. I'm gonna go
Yes,
English
this is
teacher
why
on you.
you're here, Tim. This
I
is
know,
why.
I know.
Yeah,
I don't
tell
do this
us.
a lot, but I need to do it here because it's worth doing. So, like, basic story structure is, or character structure is that every character has a want, a need, a lie, and a ghost. They want something, but they in fact need something that they're unaware of. They are haunted by something from their past or a decision that they have made, that is their ghost. And there's a lie that the world is telling them that they believe to be true. Okay. And so I want to know what Superman's need is in this book. Like, I think it clearly relates to Lois because she's like, not like, she's like, I'm dumping you. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? I'm Superman. You know, so
Yes.
I want to know more down that path. Like, what lie is the world telling that is the Superman belief in this story? And he's haunted by something, I think, also related to Lois in this case. But I would like your insight, both of you, on this.
This is a chin scratcher, Tim. This is
I know. Well, it's
some
because we don't
very
have the
good
whole
stuff.
story
And
yet.
like I said,
but,
this
like,
is why.
yeah, we don't have the
Right.
whole story yet, right? So we can't. But
Yeah.
But there's something going on with Lois. We've got 2 issues with his relationship with Lois that is all over
Yeah.
the place. So, and it's very un-Superman like in some ways. It's like it's not consistent Superman characterization for Superman to be like he just doesn't get it. So I'd like to know more there. That's what I think is intriguing me about the story as I sit on it, as the weeks tick by until the next issue.
I don't have a specific thought on that, Frank. I don't know if you do, but that is very interesting to ponder as I'm thinking about it now.
I don't have a specific theory on it, but I do wonder about something about the way that he took for granted, like yeah, she broke up with me, but that's okay. There's still nobody I would trust more. I mean, normally I wouldn't question that because there's no journalist you should trust more than Lois Lane. But it makes me wonder: is he being naive there? Or were they showing that? Is that the Chekhov's gun that's going to go off later?
Chekhov's
Yeah,
gun. Nice.
right.
Yeah.
We shall
I don't know.
see.
Yeah.
This will be interesting. Well, put a pin in that, listeners, readers, and we will see. We will come back to that as we continue to talk more about the Kryptonite Spectrum. Man, it's going to be hard for this to not be my pick of the month every month. This is almost
Not if
taking
I
that
read it first.
absolute
Get ahead.
Superman spot. And I did want to say real quick about Absolute Superman. The last couple of issues have been kind of stagnant for me, like rolling in place. But this last issue that we got, which was Absolute Superman number 11, I thought was really poignant about his relationship with Soul and calling him a brother and Soul L, and the way that it showed Soul wrapping around and protecting him, literally becoming his fortress. And in the age of AI assistants and all of these things that we got going on, I'm really liking I liked that idea from the beginning when Jason Aaron first introduced that in the first issue. But as he's gotten more time to expand upon that, I'm really enjoying that aspect. And I thought about this issue specifically, what he's doing, what he's showing us in the world of Superman. Shout out Spidey Dude. He is a fantastic person. Everyone check out, if you are a fan of Spider-Man, the Spidey, I always mix up Spidey Dude Radio, Spidey Radio Dude Network. They have some fantastic content and some great interviews. So hello, Spidey Dude. But I was thinking about like everything that Jason Aaron has taken in the Absolute Superman universe and the mythos and what we know about Superman and how he has flipped it and changed it, but we still get that essence of the character and the core of Superman. And everything started with that he was older when Krypton exploded and he lost them. And so that one change altered, I think, the way that he arrived on Earth and how much time he got to spend with the Kents and how that alters his whole path. And we're seeing that with this Absolute Superman. I feel like he's angrier and he's a lot more emotional. Although they even say it in this last issue that, all right, you're around that age where you're gonna, I almost thought he was gonna give him the birds and the bees talk for a second, but I just like what Jason Aaron is doing with all of the characters and all of the mythos that we know about Superman and moving it around just a little bit. And I think once we're done, this is going to be a really good collection. Another one that once we get that hardcover of Absolute Superman, I'm really enjoying what Jason Aaron is doing. But like I said, just a little bit of stagnation in there in between on Absolute Superman. And I do want to say that we have some honorable mentions, but I'm just going to put them in the description. If you're interested in the Superman family and everything that's happening, I really got to say Justice League Red has been a fun read with Power Girl and what's going on over there, if anyone is interested in that. And then also real quick, the new history of the DC Universe, they got to the Doomsday section and then the Reign of the Supermen section. So that stuff, I always like to see the splash page of, hey, remember this? Remember this? So fun stuff, my friends. Also, speaking of fun stuff, this month, October, as we are recording this, just the alignment of the weeks and the schedule kind of got to us. So we're already in October, but tomorrow, DC KO number 1 comes out. Now, this is the big event where every hero steps into the ring and Superman is right at the center of it all. So we are going to be talking about that next episode, DC KO. And also, I wanted to mention at the end of the month, so like the opposite, October 29th, Superman Red and Blue 2025 special number 1 drops. And it's an all-star lineup of creators. And looks like Paul Dini, Dan Abnett, Michael Walsh, Rainbow Rowell. And it's an anthology book. So that sounds like fun. We're going to be talking about that on the next episode this month in Superman October timeline. But before we get out of here, I did want to say Frank and Tim run a fantastic podcast called Beer with Geeks. And you don't even have to be an alcoholic to enjoy the Beer with Geeks because they will entertain you whether you are sober or not. And I wanted to ask the geeks what you got cooking over there on your podcast, guys.
Well, when this comic isn't cooking, we are cooking up things like Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Ooh.
We are, yeah. Tim just did a what I'm calling a warp speed binge through that series.
Warp Factor
and he has
10,
very interesting
yes.
things
Maybe
to share.
Warp 2 wasn't,
I think it was like Warp 2.8. I did the math.
Okay, yeah, not going very fast. Took 2.5 years basically to watch 7 seasons. So
Warp is warp, okay?
Warp is warp.
I mean, you're still fitting 7 into 2. That's great.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
That's math we actually can't do. Yeah, that's right.
We don't have that technology yet, and that is why we need Star Trek.
That's true. But yeah, so that is.
You just got a new subscriber.
Yes,
Thank you
Spidey
very much,
Dude.
Spidey
Thank
Dude.
you.
Thank you, Spidey Dude. So that's where you'll find us, beerwithgeeks.com or on YouTube at Beer with Geeks. And Vactor mentioned at the beginning, I've been doing some Beatles stuff on TikTok. You can find me Frank Ramblings on TikTok. Check that out.
If you are a Beatles fan, you owe it to yourself to check out Frank's TikToks. They have been fantastic. They have really brightened my day. Every time I'm on my TikTok feed and I see Frank's face and I hear his voice, I say, I know I'm going to be educated and entertained at the same time. So definitely check out Frank's TikTok. And I've tried to put this into the universe. If I could get a Tim Tangent timeline of Tim giving me Batman facts on his TikTok, and I see his face and I hear his voice, then my TikTok timeline would be complete. That's all I need, Tim. So make it happen. I want to see it tomorrow. All right, go.
That would be a tangent timeline.
Yeah. That would require me to make a TikTok account, and I can't help you. So, yeah. They told me no.
I will still be
have
here.
An email, and they were like, no, I don't care. Get out of here. Yeah.
What? I will still be here wanting it and dreaming. Hey, maybe you could do it on this show, Tim. Give us some bat facts at the end of every episode of This Month in Superman. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, totally.
I want to thank everybody who's here, everybody who joined us live, and Tim and Frank. You guys are the best. But that is September. I think this was a good month, the month of Superman. If you only read one book this month, make it Kryptonite Spectrum. It is the fun of September, I think. Excellent stuff. I am Vactor. On behalf of Tim and Frank, stay strong, stay hopeful, and stay super, everybody. We'll see you next month for This Month in Superman.